Good afternoon, fellow Kenyans. Today I'd like to talk about fuel price in Kenya. It's a common topic throughout our country that everyone has been complaining about fuel price that has been consistently and constantly going up since the beginning of this year. What is happening here is, since March, international crude oil price has been going up from the lowest price of $13 per barrel during the wake of Corona back in 2020. And believe you me or not, currently the price of oil is averaging between 100 to 108 per barrel in international crude oil price. That has no doubt contributed heavily toward the current price that we are currently seeing. The government has done the best it can to cushion Kenyan citizens against the volatility of that price. But back in, we can all remember there was a bill tabled in Parliament that was talking about fuel levy. Most Kenyans were complaining about it. But I think economists projected that going forward, they were anticipated high volatility in oil price. So Kenyans, through the bill that was taken to Parliament, Kenya were actually taxed 5.40 shilling per liter every time they go to fuel their tank. Before, they were only taxed 0.4 shilling per liter. The excuse for that was, we need this money in case of international oil volatility. We will use this money to cushion our citizens. This is what happened. Back in March, when the price of oil was consistently going up, as it's approaching 110 to 115, the government find it wiser to subsidize that cost, because if it's left unchecked, it may reach a point whereby citizens may not be able to afford, and it may most likely lead to some kind of an uprising or some kind of a civil disobedience. So the government decided to spend 31.7 billion. It's allocated that amount of money, 31.7 billion Kenyan shilling. And ever since, it has been spending about 7.65 billion every month to give to the oil marketer so that they can subsidize their price. So the price of petrol, every time you go to the petrol station and buy fuel, it is being subsidized by 20 shilling. While the price of diesel, anytime you buy diesel, the government actually pay for you 27 shilling. And anytime you go to the petrol station to get some kerosene, the government actually pay for you 26 shilling. And there is where the price are. So what happened? Without the subsidy, a liter of petrol in Nairobi will have retailed at 176, while that one of diesel will have retailed at 150, and that of kerosene will have actually retailed at 174. That will be almost unbearable. So the government find it important to chip in. That has heavily affected our budget. And as we are right now, the government has already spent 15 6.1 billion. So what do we do now? It's a good thing for government to do that, but the question is it sustainable? That's the point. Is it sustainable? The point is it's not, because currently within these few months, 0.3% of our GDP has been consumed as a result of that subsidy. So if you project it, it will definitely, the government may reach a point whereby it may not be able to take care of its basic obligation toward its citizen. And I do believe anyone in Hisawu House and Treasury, they're actually scratching their head in the way out of this. Because of that, the World Bank stepped in and actually cautioned the government. If they continue with that subsidy, chances are our country might find ourselves into big trouble, to the point of whereby they may not even be able to pay the teachers, the civil servant, and other important costs. Therefore, the advice from the World Bank, they have advised the government to stop that subsidy and let the market force dictate its own price. That means they should remove the subsidy. The 7.6 billion they're spending per month, they should have actually remove it. What happened is that the government so far hasn't accepted the demand of the World Bank, but they have actually halfway accepted it. That is where once they removed it, just like a month and a half ago, they halved the amount. The price of oil went up to almost 150 as we're talking right now. So going forward, the current government is still enjoying the 31.7 billion allocated by the supplementary budget. So there's a serious problem ahead of us here, because currently we are just heading for an election. And trust me, the budget that was passed to subsidize fuel is only 5 billion, which cannot even sustain for a month. So the question is, will the next government be able to face this giant of escalating oil price head on? I'd like to continue with that topic in the next clips. Thank you, Kenya, for taking your time to actually get to see or get to hear what I have to say for the betterment of our country. God bless you, Kenyans.